As a solopreneur, as a service provider, there is this thing that happens that y'all start your businesses because you have this passion, purpose, skill set, vision, this thing you want to do, way that you want to help, this impact you want to make. So we start this adventure that is entrepreneurship, but that doesn't mean we come with business skills, understanding how to build a business. And so we're desperate. We're looking everywhere for information, for someone that has the answer, for the right membership or accelerator or course or book or podcast or coach or whatever. Because we are just looking everywhere and everywhere for anyone that has the magical answer to how to get our business off the ground. And because there is so much bad business advice, misinformation, or people who also don't know how to build a business trying to tell y'all how to build a business. Where do I go? Who do I talk to? And where are we? We are all on our phones scrolling. And so we see a post on how to grow your business with social media. And the post is talking about going viral and the importance of going onto trends or using music or the exact right caption you need. It sounds really simple and really easy and really sexy, to someone that doesn't know the right questions to ask. But with just a few simple questions, you see how that whole strategy quickly unravels. The problem is you don't know that because you're new and you don't have the experience, and you watch that video and you think, okay, cool, that sounds cool. But here's the thing. You watch the video. So now the algorithm is going to show you more and more and more and more and more content on becoming a content creator, on going viral, on hopping on trends, on building funnels, on blah, 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 blah. And there's like a gazillion people, a dime a dozen, pitching you on how simple and easy it is. You don't need an offer. You don't need an audience. You don't need to spend money. You don't got to do this. You don't got to do that. They're selling, and this is the tough love, it's coming, I'm sorry. They're selling a fantasy that isn't real because they know you don't know any better. Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. I feel like we need like a spooky horror movie mask or something on today. We should be having a scary movie mask day today. How is everybody? What's going on? How was your week? How was your month? How was your Q1? Give me some updates. Tell me what's been going on. It's been a wild and wacky Q1 over here in the Radical Connected world. As you well know, it has been full on as I have expanded what the Radical Connector is doing to really reinforce that if you're a service provider, a solopreneur, we need to get you out of the doing it all yourself mode into business owner mode. Even if you still are in a stage of business where you are having to do it all yourself, we need to already start sort of expanding that mindset into business owner. One of the big things I wanted to talk about today, which you've heard me say over and over, that you're a business owner, you're not a content creator, you're an entrepreneur, you're not a content creator. Stop wasting so much time creating content, start building a business. But I wanted to break down what that really means when I'm saying that, and why thinking like a content creator when you're trying to build a business will never get you to build a business because you are focused on the wrong thing. But also, if you are a content creator, so if your business model is content creator, you still need to think like a business owner. So the theme of today is you are not a content creator. First off, what does that even mean when I say that? You are not a content creator. What does that mean? Where does that land in you? What does that make you think? Do you feel a sense of relief? Do you feel a sense of frustration? Maybe you feel called out. Maybe you feel confused because you're like, wait, I thought I was supposed to create content. I know that for a lot of people who are starting businesses, they say over and over again, if I didn't have a business, I wouldn't be creating content on social media. It is seen as this necessary evil, this thing I'm forced to do. How do you view it? What does it mean to you? Because a lot of us are on social media, the algorithm is showing us all these people who are showing you how to go viral or how to create this or how to fall onto that trend or how to take advantage of this funnel or how to use these templates or how to get this AI scheduling software or how to write captions or how to edit on Canva. Like there's so much. And of course, once you look at one thing, the algorithm just keeps showing you more and more and more. And so it really starts to skew your perspective into thinking, oh, I should do all these things too. I have to do all these things too. Well, it looks so easy. Why not do it? And so when we think about being business owners and building a business, we have to understand that as a business owner, our job is to build a business. And so what is building a business? And I think even if we can define that, like how do you define building a business? What is building a business? Building a business is having something to sell and offering a product, a service, something to sell to somebody who wants to buy it. You are solving a problem, you are serving a need, you are helping someone become something, do something, achieve something, have something. Primarily, your job as a business is to solve a problem or serve a need. And then within that, you got to be visible, you got to market your offers, and you need to sell your offers. And there's different ways to market, different ways to be visible, different ways to sell. But fundamentally, it's going to be visibility, marketing, and sales. Those are the three things that you have to do. But that is just to sell the offer. That's not the same as building a business. That's the sales part. But what is a business, right? A business generally has employees, or at the very least, subcontractors, freelancers, people who are coming on to do things like your admin, helping with your sales or lead generation or your marketing and advertising, helping with doing the work so it's not all on you. A business is like a structure with people and systems inside that allow you to continue to sell your offers to the people who want them. So, content is a tool inside your visibility, marketing, and sales side of what you do. But it's like one little piece of the business. And what happens is people think creating content is the business. And so they put way too much focus on this one little piece, forget all of the rest of it. And what I hear from most entrepreneurs and what I observe is I'm making content, I'm making content, I'm making content, but I'm not getting sales. And it's because you're misunderstanding fundamentally how your customer purchases and how sales works, and how at the end of the day to also build a business so that it's not you doing all the things. So it's a complex thing building a business. It's a complex thing being visible, doing marketing and getting sales. But if we continue to go down the path of content creator, my job is to make content, we will forever be skewed and focusing on the wrong thing and burning up our time, our energy, our creativity, even our money if we're hiring social media managers and people to help with content and we're paying for all these platforms like schedulers and editors and all these things. We're just hemorrhaging time, money, energy, creativity on things that aren't going to work. And so then we sit here and go, well, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I do this? Does nobody want what I've got? And it's like, no, you're not doing the right activities. As a solopreneur, as a service provider, there is this thing that happens that y'all start your businesses because you have this passion, this purpose, this skill set, this vision, this thing you want to do, this way that you want to help, this way you want to support, this impact you want to make. And so you dive in, right? Or even sometimes it's just that you want to have a better life for yourself. You want to improve your life. Maybe you can't find work. Maybe working a job for somebody else is soul sucking. You want the freedom to be able to do your own thing. So we start this adventure that is entrepreneurship. But that doesn't mean we come with business skills, understanding how to build a business. And so we're desperate. We're looking everywhere for information, for someone that has the answer, for the right membership or accelerator or course or book or podcast or coach or whatever. Because we are just looking everywhere and everywhere for anyone that has the magical answer to how to get our business off the ground. And because there is so much bad business advice, misinformation, or people who also don't know how to build a business trying to tell y'all how to build a business. And then also a lot of the more formal business support and advice is not geared towards the service provider. It is geared towards tech, manufacturing products, brick and mortar shops, retail, manufacturing, export, import, bigger industry type businesses. So really the service provider is like, where do I go? Who do I talk to? And where are we? We are all on our phones scrolling. And so we see a post on how to grow your business with social media. And the post is talking about going viral and the importance of going onto trends or using music or the exact right caption you need. I saw this one the other day that was total BS. And it was like, what did it say? It had to do with you don't have to build no like trust. You just have to have the right funnel in place and blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, it sounds really simple and really easy and really sexy, to someone that doesn't know the right questions to ask. But with just a few simple questions, you see how that whole strategy quickly unravels. The problem is you don't know that because you're new and you don't have the experience. And you watch that video and you think, okay, cool, that sounds cool. But here's the thing. You watch the video. So now the algorithm is going to show you more and more and more and more and more content on becoming a content creator, on going viral, on hopping on trends, on building funnels, on blah, 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 blah. And there's like a gazillion people, a dime a dozen, pitching you on how simple and easy it is. You don't need an offer. You don't need an audience. You don't need to spend money. You don't got to do this. You don't got to do that. They're selling, and this is the tough love. It's coming. I'm sorry. They're selling a fantasy that isn't real because they know you don't know any better. And so you're spending money and you're signing up for this program and this course and this membership and this accelerator and blah, 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 blah. If you saw the bouncing back from bankruptcy video we did with Rachel, she was spending 3 grand a month for months on a sales and marketing model that wasn't even designed for her service based business. It wasn't even the right kind of business model that they were trying to teach her to do.
I had only a few months of freelancing under my belt before I made the decision. So you already know the setup for that. Rachel doesn't have a consistent income, has no idea how to actually run a business properly, likes the idea, and then decided to quit her job cold turkey, thinking that she was going to make it happen. I made the jump, spent the first year realizing, oh my gosh, I just jumped into a pool and I don't know how to swim. So a lot of splashing happens, a lot of trying to gather bits and pieces of knowledge that I didn't even know that I needed. And then the pandemic happened 1 year later when I was just starting to get my bearings. And then the world was thrown into chaos and then everything went online. So that was kind of the start of when I had just run through all of my savings. Thankfully, government aid came in at the right time.
Mhm.
And when the government aid came in, I ended up choosing to use that and then reinvest it into my business. So none of it really went into my pocket. I actually used it to invest in the training that by the end of year 1 I knew that I needed. I knew that I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't actually know what it meant to run a business. I was in freelance land and I had just wrapped my mind around the concept of, yeah, so business isn't just about being good at what you do and earning money off of it. There's a whole lot more to this game than like people make it out to seem. And I also learned that I didn't know how to market myself because when you work at a job, the company you work for does all the marketing and you just do the work. And so those were two big gaps that I understood I was missing at that time. And so I think the first program I ever invested in was a sales funnel program. You already know that this is not gonna end very well. That was a year-long program. It was around $3,000 per month, and this is me with 0. I know, it was bad. I didn't start off on a good foot. $0 in the bank account. Every month that government aid came in, I would sift it into this program. So, that already is not a good situation, but in my mind, I was thinking, "Well, once I know how to play this game, then the money will start coming in. So this is a good investment." What I didn't realize at that time is what I was investing in, it wasn't appropriate for my stage of business because you can't market until you have a business. Marketing is telling people about what you got. I didn't have anything solid, but the program and my coaches I was working with in the program, they didn't tell me that. And this is, I'm pretty sure we're going to get into this, but I invested in the wrong thing at the wrong time. Not saying that what they taught me in the program wasn't good, but
Yeah.
that knowledge, I ended up needing it in year 4 or 5 of my business, not not on year 1.
And so not only are we not getting good business advice, we're also getting this super narrow vision of what we're supposed to do, which is create content on social media or create content on podcast, to YouTube, whatever. And so now we are creating content and creating content and creating content, and we're doing all the things. We're very good. We're being a good student. We're doing all the things, but we're still not getting sales. What's going on? Now we're exhausted. We're burnt out. We're more broke than we were. We're out of energy. So you're at this point where you're like exhausted and you're frustrated and you're wondering what the heck is going on and what's the answer? What do I do when you think my business isn't viable and nobody wants this and I can't do this? And the reality is you're just getting bad business advice, the wrong business advice. So I want to hit pause there and just hear if that is relatable. When I say things like you're not a content creator, you're a business owner, stop focusing on content. How does that land when you hear me really paint that picture? And I'll tell you, I have been I feel like just like harping on this for years. I was just watching a video replay I recorded with a business friend of mine, Jared, back in Toronto, and it's just funny to watch myself saying the same things like I've been saying for years, but especially since 2020, right when the pandemic hit. We're on our phones so much more, and there's so many more people hawking this fantasy and selling this fantasy because they all took the courses that told them how to do this, and they're all on there. And I'm gonna say it, they're lying, they're making things up. They're stretching the truth. And you begin to think there's something wrong with you, not the system, the game. You think something's wrong with you. No, there's not. It's just that you're not getting the right advice. And so today we're going to talk about what you need to be doing instead. What is building a business? Where does content play a role in that? Because it does play a role. I right now am creating content. It does play a role, but it needs to be an intentional role that serves the business. And here's the thing, friends, and this is the part that I know rubs people the wrong way. A part of the fantasy that inexperienced entrepreneurs are buying into is that it's not going to take hard work. And when I say hard work, that often means scary work, putting myself out there, talking to people, but it also means high energy work. You're going to be putting out a lot of energy. So, where that's so appealing for people is they think, oh, this is something I can do with an hour a week with no spoons. Besties, you're not going to get a business off the ground that way. You have to surrender to and accept that if I'm going to be a business owner, even if it's just going to be a business of one, it's going to be you with a few people behind the scenes to help you run the show. Even if you're going to do that, it's going to take multiple hours in a week. Usually you're going to work a job and then come home and work your business. And that's going to be like that for a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how fast it goes. Hopefully less. My job is to collapse that down, but it's going to take, like I say all the time, longer, more money, more work. It's going to be harder than you think. So, part of the appeal of all these people and what they're selling to is this fantasy that you're not going to have to work hard. So, I need you all right now to decide if you want to be a business owner, if you want to have a business. And then, if the answer is yes, then you have to give yourself permission to work hard and to do the things that are going to tire you out, because it's going to be like that for a few years. And that's the truth bomb. That is hard for people to hear because they say, but this person said I don't have to. And this person said I don't have to. Selling you a fantasy. Not true. When you talk to any successful business owner, what they're going to say over and over is how hard they worked, is it takes hard work, right? Becky, relieved. I have no desire to create content. I mean, no, Becky, you probably have to create some content. Probably have to create some content. I used to create plus size fitness style of content on TikTok, and then I would put it over onto Instagram here and there. I had a podcast for a short time. It was a whole other brand that I had created. And as the Radical Connector continued to get busier and busier, I backed off that because I just didn't have the time for it anymore. And, I had like 10,500 followers over on TikTok, not nothing. And I was like, do I want to keep going with this? I have all these followers. I have this engaged community. It's really awesome. And every time I would say, okay, I'm coming back, and I would start to make content, I just hate making short form content. And the other night I was going, okay, I'm at a different gym where I'm getting to do a little more solo workouts. What if I bring my camera and just record some content that I could? And I just thought of like setting up my camera, moving my camera around, doing all these things. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to create this kind of content. And so I deactivated all my accounts. I didn't delete them. I'm a little, not yet, but I did deactivate them because I was like, you don't like creating short form content, right? It's like you're going to have to make some sort of content. It is going to be a part of the process, but you don't have to do the things you don't want to do. Jessica, it kind of makes me not know what to do, but I've been networking in person. I struggle with people knowing what I even do. Yeah, because that's the part that you have to figure out. As a business owner, that's the part you've got to figure out. How do I get in front of the people who want to buy from me, or at the very least need to know I exist? So, referral partners, collaborators, other leaders, how do I get in front of them? And then how do I make it clear and easy to buy from me or engage with me? And a part of that clear and easy is having people understand what you do. And so that's where, again, we say, that's the high energy work. It is networking. It is having conversations. It is doing things that get you visible into other people's audiences. One of my clients, she's got a really fabulous business. She's a coach and she's got a specific demographic that she works with, solving a specific problem. And she realized, because she's been having a ton of networking calls and sales calls, and she realized that the offers that she was selling, that she was solving the wrong problem. You take your best guess at the problem you're going to solve. And then as you go out and try to sell it, if people don't care, that's not the problem that they want solved. They're not spending money on solving that problem. You have to listen to what they're actually saying, what they're actually asking for. Even if they're not directly asking you, but they're talking about it, they're searching it, they're consuming that kind of content, they are sharing what they learned from different content creators, right? You have to be tuned into what your ideal customer is talking about and looking for, what they want. And the quickest way to do that is through talking directly with them, which means hopping on a Zoom or on a phone call. But what is the high energy work and the time consuming work? It is that. That's often why we will avoid it. We'll take to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to tell you what your customer wants. Don't recommend. As you can tell by my face. We'll go do random Google searches or surveys or whatever, but we will avoid talking to the people. And that's what we have to do to talk to them. You got to figure out what they actually want. And then you listen to the words that they're saying. And those are the words that you use when you're out there creating content or marketing or speaking or networking. So that's a part of the process. That's a part of what we have to do. So I feel like my ADHD gets in the way of my content making. Like I have so many content options in my business, I forget to get distracted. Well, then again, you have to ask yourself, is content the right thing? So the person I just talked about making that old YouTube video with, like from 6 years ago, he mentioned that he wanted to get his YouTube channel going again. And he does event photos, videos, video editing, things like that. And I was like, well, hang on, but why? Is YouTube how you get the bulk of your business? Well, no, he's in Niagara photographer. It's local searches, it's referrals, it's networking. And you're a business of one with a few subcontractors. You're trying to get your business scaled. Taking the time to go build relationships, build your team out, get business, get sales, to go build content or to go make content makes zero sense because that's not how business comes into you. And that's what I'm saying. How does your business come? How does sales and opportunities come into your world? And if it's not through content, your job is to figure out how you get sales, how opportunities come to you. Now, obviously, that's why I'm here. That's why we have our Patreon community. That's why I work with people. That's my job. We can figure that out together. But your job is to figure out how people buy. So if it's not through content, you need to figure that out, right? Okay. So if content isn't how my business grows, then you have to ask yourself how my business grows, right? And so when I say things to you, like you need to figure out how to get yourself in front of your ideal customer, I want you right now to ask yourself, who is my ideal customer? Who is the person who pays me money to deliver a service or sell a product? Who is that person? And then you need to ask yourself, how does that person hire people like me or buy from people like me? Are they looking online and doing a Google search or LLM search? Are they asking friends, family, peers, colleagues, other professionals? Are they asking for someone, hey, who do you know who does this? Who do you know who does that? Are they active in certain communities or ecosystems where they are engaging with people like yourself? They are consuming content. They are going to workshops or panels or conferences, networking events. You need to think about that and go, great, how am I showing up there? I was talking about Jared with his photography and videography in Niagara. So he puts a lot into SEO because he's in a smaller town/city where he can rank number one, number two if he's got a good SEO strategy. So he's coming up all the time in Google searches. Also, he has a strong referral network. He'll work with real estate agents or weddings or conferences, specialized industries, different companies and corporations. So as he's been networking over the years, he's got a really strong reputation and people are constantly referring business or doing repeat business. And so generally as service providers, it is going to be through networking directly with our customer. And that includes online and in person. That is referrals, which is based on networking because you got to network with the people who refer, right? There's collaborations where you're sharing an audience and talking to each other's audiences, which again, we're going to rely on networking. There are those visibility opportunities, whether it's you're facilitating a panel, you're on a stage, you're doing a workshop, you're doing an article or a guest blog or something. There's some sort of visibility into other people's audience, which guess what? Relies on networking to build those relationships. So for most service providers, your main focus is going to be on building out your networks and then bringing those people in to have phone conversations or Zoom or video meetings, coffee meetings to start to build relationships and see what kind of magic you can create together. And then those relationships you'll continue to nurture over time, over the years, and you'll continue to get more and more business, more and more opportunities. When I say that posting content, creating content is the slowest way to get business, the most time consuming, laborious, slowest ways, that's what I mean. Because you're spending so much time creating content and then it's up to the algorithms to push your stuff out there and to get found. You have very little control. But content and social media platforms, content marketing, it does play a role, but it's one piece of a larger marketing, visibility, and sales puzzle, right? So let me hit pause here and read some comments. Allison, how are you doing, Allison? I haven't talked to you in a while. Try to connect with and network with fellow disabled folks, but some of the work I do is for people who are very early disability process, which increases the challenge. Yeah. And that's where, this conversation comes in too around one of the decisions that you have to make is, do I want to be a business owner. And we talk about the difference between being a service provider and being a business owner. There's the purpose, the impact, the mission, and there's the business. And a business is bigger than what you do. What you do is the product, is what you're selling, but the business is bigger than that. The business is people and systems and analytics and reports and taxes. And you know what I mean? Like the business, it's an entity, it's a thing that you're building. And so a lot of folks start a business to improve their lives, to make an impact on the world, to make change. But if that's the only thing you're going for is impact and change and improving my life, but you don't actually want to do all the things that are required to build an entity, to build a business, it's really important that you know that because a better alternative might be to have a job that pays you well, that you enjoy, and the impact and purpose is off the side of your desk. It's this thing that you do on the side. And that's a really hard conversation to have with ourselves. But if you're like, no, I want to have a business, then we have to ask ourselves, who is the ideal customer who wants what we have and has the money to buy it? And if what we're selling, there is no ideal customer for that, then we have to change what we're selling because the business is different than the impact. Business has to make money. It needs a customer that wants to buy what you have, what you're selling, and has the money to buy it. If that's not viable, there is no business. So that means sometimes we have to go back to the drawing board and look again at what we're selling and who the ideal customer is that wants to buy that. And if there is no fit, like we really have to think about that and go, okay, but I really want to be a business owner. So I need to look at this differently. Part of why selling the books is a better strategy for me now, as that helps people in more places in the disability process. Yes. And so, Allison, for you, very hard to make a livable income off selling books if you don't have a publishing company and PR and whatnot behind you, because it is so much work for so little money. And so in the meantime, you need to figure out how else you're bringing in income or you're not going to survive. Like you got to pay your bills, right? And so that's when we look at things like where can you get paid to go in and potentially do some workshops, do some training. Maybe you can go in and do training with different organizations and companies that are going to pay you in the thousands, not $20 for a book. I have to think about who are the people that want what I've got or want the expertise that I have. How can I rethink this? Oh, absolutely. Part of why I've let myself step back and rethink of things, but yeah, my primary income has been and will continue to be Social Security disability. Yeah. Allison, like that is a part of the thing. Like, is building a business even something that you're trying to do? Because maybe for you, it's not building a business. It's supporting people who are going through this, and it is more of a content creator model. But like I said, as a content creator, you still have to think like a business owner in the sense of who's my customer and what do they want. As a content creator, your customer is the person who's paying you. So if that's advertisers, if that's sponsors, then your product is your audience. So then your job is to build the right audience. And then that requires, again, now that requires content marketing, right? And we have to look at content marketing through the lens of my customer is this, my product is this, my job is to build the product, which is the audience. Remember what they say, guys, if you're not paying for it, you're the product. If we follow content creators and we follow them and we engage their content, we're the product. It's having a passion project that gives me purpose. Making money is a desirable bonus. I don't care if I make money from this at all. This is a passion project. In which case, take the pressure off to build a business. And for you, Allison, you can continue if you want to create content, understanding that your audience is the product, right? Yes, you have a book to sell, but that's content. With content creators, like influencers, there's a few different levers being pulled there. But fundamentally, at the end of the day, your audience is your product. Jessica, so last time we spoke, you recommended networking because that's how you're going to build your business. I've been going a lot, even traveled a few hours to get an important room. Amazing. How did that go? I made good connections, but some still don't understand that I'm not an influencer. So making that switch is difficult. I had a good call where they understood that I sell marketing assets. I love that. And the thing is you will get better. You'll get better at telling people what you do and explaining what you do. And I mean, it is challenging if your customers don't know what you do. Because how would I describe it, right? Like, yeah, like I make your marketing assets. If they don't know what that is, they don't know they need that, there is a bit of education. But thankfully for you, there's not a lot of education. You just have to come up with the right way of talking about what you do or the right like analogy for them to go, oh yeah, we need that. We want that. That's exactly what we're looking for. Or even better, you need to ask what they're looking for so that you can start saying that. Like, go challenge yourself to have 10 conversations in the next 3 to 4 weeks, at least 10, maybe 15 conversations with your ideal customer, where it's not a sales conversation, but it is a, what do you call this? Show them a video, show them a picture, show them a brochure, whatever. What do you call this? When you're making this, what are you doing? Who is doing it for you? What are you looking for if you're looking for someone to do it for you? Go and have a whole bunch of conversations and see if you can figure out, oh, that's what they're asking for. That's what they're searching. Okay, now I can go. I can update my website. I can update my pitch, and away we go. Literally go talk to 15 people in the next 30 days. I'm going to book a bunch of calls and we're going to have this conversation. And I'm not going to feed them anything. I'm going to ask them, what do you call this? What do you call this? When you need something like this made, who are you looking for? What are you searching for? Right? Do you think you need something like this? Would something this be helpful for you? Because maybe they're not even making it. That's market research. Market research isn't ChatGPT, guys. Market research isn't a survey. Market research is talking to people and finding out where the gap is between where they are, where they want to be, and what you need to start saying and doing and talking about and selling. So proud of you guys. I want to hear what is landing for you today. I said a whole bunch of stuff today. It wasn't as neat and pretty as it normally is. But of all the things I said today, what is landing? We talked about the difference between being a content creator versus being a business owner, the importance of deciding if you want to have a business, understanding that a business is going to take hard work, it's going to take time. You're going to have to do things that are high energy output, especially if you're a service provider, but honestly, so many businesses. Networking is the most important thing you're going to do because it's what's going to lead to every single other thing that's going to bring customers in. We talked about how susceptible new entrepreneurs are, inexperienced entrepreneurs are to to the fantasy being sold, and that's just not how things work. It's not how sales work. What are some of the things that you're hearing? Having a business succeed is the best option for me making money at this point in my life. So then you need to be very real with what is my business model? Meaning, how does my business make money? There's different types of business models. What is mine? How does my business make money? What are the activities that I need to do to make that money? What are the activities that I need to stop because they don't make money? Who do I need to talk to who has actual information, actual advice that applies to my business model? Remember, I said that about Rachel was following the wrong advice for a different business model that wasn't her own and went into almost 100 grand in debt because it wasn't for her business model, right? So, what is my business model? How do I get sales through my business model? Who has that information that can help me? What else? How else are things landing today on this one? This one is definitely a tough love conversation. Well, it doesn't have to be tough love, but it is like a reality conversation. I have some market research to do. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with the market research you're going to do, Jessica, too, is it's going to lead to things. It may lead to business, referrals, people in your network, new friends, new people that open doors for you. That's the thing. You don't have to go in with the intention to sell, go in with the intention to gather information and build relationships with people. But you may end up getting sales out of it as well. And the market research, that is what's missing for most businesses that aren't succeeding, is that they don't have the right information. So they're not aligned. Their products and services and marketing and sales, like nothing is aligned. They need to go gather more data. Yeah, come to Jesus, whoever you prefer moment. I'll say Zeus often. It's a come to Zeus moment. I need some lightning bolts. Put these lightning bolts into your brains. I mean, like in a good way. Okay, so for friends that are in the Patreon/ick free sales community, we have our hot seat business coaching coming up on Monday this month. I'm in a conference on the Tuesday, which is when we normally meet. So it's on the Monday, the 30th at 9 a.m. Pacific. So save it in your calendar. I have sent out communication on that, so you should have that. So come to that. Bring your questions. Bring where you're feeling stuck. Bring where you're not clear, and we can dive into that together, okay? If you are also a member at the Business Nerd, the top tier, next week we are meeting with Sherilyn Williams, and we're going to be talking about cash flow. WTF is cash flow? And we're going to talk about what cash flow is, what it means when money comes into the business, how to manage that money, how to understand the ins and outs of cash flow, why you need a positive cash flow. We're going to get real nerdy with our numbers. So that is next Friday, the 20th at 10 a.m. Pacific. And as always, we're going to have a Q&A. So you're going to have time with Sherilyn to ask questions around money and finances and bookkeeping and cash flow and taxes and all that kind of stuff. Okay. If you're not yet a business nerd, you can totally scan this QR code and come join us. And then that's the top tier. You get the top tier. And if you are, we will see you there. We will see you for your hot seat. Before we go, I would love to hear a quick little action step. Here is something that I'm going to do with the rest of this month based on what we just talked about. All right, Jessica, I'm going to talk to some of my former clients to see why they hired me. LOL. Yes, I'm not kidding. I want you to book like 15 market research calls. Also, there is something about putting yourself out there that's really important because A lot of times people will avoid putting themselves out there because they're nervous or scared. And I want you to be comfortable with putting yourself out there. So, yeah, it might feel awkward at first, but you need to do it because that's a huge part of being a business owner is putting yourself out there. If you haven't already, make sure you get the ick free sales scripts. They're in the Patreon there, but you can also just go to my website under the free tools. But get those ick free sales scripts, and there's some good verbiage in there for you to use to say to book the call once you're on the call. So make sure you use that. Any other ones here? Getting here was my big action for the week. I love it, but I'm going to dig my website update so I can put that up in April. Cool. Cool. Allison, you know how I feel about website updates. Unless it's something like fundamental to the business, that is a lot of busy work because there's probably very few people actually going to your website. Is there anything else that you can take that's more of a proactive action that will give you a chance to be visible in some way into a new audience to tell more people about your book? So you can do the website if you want. But again, I don't know what the website update is, but generally, no one's really going to it. I would rather that you do something that's a visibility piece. Go do a workshop or a talk somewhere into a community where your book customers would be. That's what I would rather that you do. There's some tough love. There's some tough love there. Doing an interview book too. Okay. Wonderful. You're being interviewed by someone else, right? Wonderful. Fantastic. It's a good thing you wrote that, Allison. We get an email from me saying, RGA, RGA, revenue generating activity. By a person focused on helping disabled folks be seen, heard, understood. Oh, nice. In his membership group, but need to follow up on a few things with him. He read book one and we're planning to discuss it. Wonderful, Allison. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Gorgeous. I love that. And make sure that you have the link for the book to purchase it. Make sure you have a link to your email list so people can get on it. Brilliant, Allison. Well done. Make sure you have your bio really tightened up so it's really clear what you do, that you're an author. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'm packing to move, so I'm a bit more scattered than usual at planning how I'm going to set up a new space for the best workflow. Cool. I still want you to do a business activity. So that business activity can be to reach out to 3 people to book a networking call for April. Just a networking call. Just a, hey, how are you? Let's catch up. Let's get to know each other if it's someone new. You can do it for April. You don't have to do it for this month, but I would like you to do at least 3. Message on LinkedIn, message on Instagram, go to your emails, go into any communities you're a part of. Find at least 3 people that you want to talk to. You don't have to have an agenda or an expected outcome. I just want you to do some networking. Okay. I need to add my media kit to my website at some point, but at this point I hand it out or send it by email. It's also on my LinkedIn. Wonderful. Market research calls. That's it. That's all I want you to do. The media kit doesn't matter if you're not using the right verbiage that people aren't using themselves. You guys, do you love me? I love you. Hope you love my tough love. It's like I give you an opportunity to tell me what you're going to do, and you all tell me things like, I'm going to update my website. I'm going to update my LinkedIn. No, book a networking call. Talk to a person. I appreciate that you don't just take the easy way out. Yeah. I wouldn't be doing my job if I let you get away with update my website. No. Oh my God. Oh, I'll do them. I promise. Good. I'll be checking in with you. I'll probably forget. But the next time I see you, I'll remember. I'm going to burn walk and paddle into my brain right now, Jessica, and be like, did you do your calls? All right, you guys, I'm going to go get out of here. I got a few things to do. Make it a fantastic weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for maneuvering through those weird technical glitches. In the meantime, for those that are business nerd level in our Patreon community, I will see you on Friday next week with Sherry Lynn to talk about cash flow. And I will see you on Monday the 30th for Hot Seat Business Coaching. You are all amazing. I am so, so, so proud of you guys. Take big swings, put yourself out there, go book some calls, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. What else we got here? We have just me and my cat, and she is seriously slacking. Get your cat working, eh? At least giving you some snuggles.